And so, yes, COVID's happened. My business was shut for 3 months. But guess what, Sandra? 2022, I was half in my profits. 1 year post-COVID, business closed. We needed help, and the government didn't support dentists. I doubled my turnover.
Get
My
out.
profit
Yeah,
increased.
look at that.
1 year into post-COVID.
Wow.
How is that possible?
How is
And
that possible?
there's my dental blueprint,
It's
the profit continuum. And so if I can do it in that kind of environment, I've discovered a way. And I've got a brilliant team. My team doubled up. And I was thinking, I did something right here.
Welcome to Blank Canvas to a Masterpiece podcast with your host, Sandra Keimer.
Lovely to see you again, Sandra.
Lovely to see you as always, How are you feeling? Good?
I'm amazing.
Great.
Thank you for asking. And yourself?
I'm very good. I'm excellent. I'm really good.
That's awesome.
Dr. Michelle Wyngaard is a rapid transformation business strategist and personal life coach for female dentists with over 26 years of experience in the industry. She helps her clients maximize their profits and achieve better work-life integration. As the founder and CEO of the Arc, Michelle is recognized as being an unconventional in her industry. She's a thought leader and an advocate for helping her clients and others attain spiritual well-being and success in business as well as all areas of life. Having run her own dental business for over 54 years, Michelle's expertise in understanding the unique challenges faced by women in dentistry is unparalleled. Experiencing her own struggles in dentistry led her to embark on her journey of personal development. After years of study and through her journey, she created the Dental Profit Continuum Blueprint solution to running a successful dental business for female dentists. By implementing this approach, Michelle was able to double her profits and achieve a more fulfilling life without stress and burnout. Love that. Michelle is also known as a smile and mind conscious connector because she has impacted the lives of hundreds to connect with their authentic selves, creating a more fulfilling life while simultaneously enjoying a profitable business. She's also a multiple Amazon #1 best-selling author, and an award-winner magnetic mindset coach, professional speaker, and TV host. Michelle's mission is to provide transformation coaching for female dentists who want to maximize their profits, remove burnout, and claim back their time. She's passionate about changing the crippling dynamics of a very stressful industry, being chained to their chair, believing that every female dentist should have a thriving practice and business and a balanced, happy life. So if you're tired of being chained to your chair and want transformation, don't you wait. We got Michelle in the studio. Michelle, I know that you've got all these things going on, but I want to hear about your humble beginnings because you were born in South Africa.
Yes, I was.
I want to hear a bit more and just give us a bit of a background about yourself and where you came from and where you are right now.
Well, so first say thank you very much for that lovely introduction. It's a mouthful coming from the dental industry. In 1999, I landed on the shores of England and I migrated from the shores of Cape Town, qualifying in my first year of dentistry. And I didn't find any direction there and felt that it wasn't going to fulfill my career for what I came to do in dentistry. And then I sought for jobs abroad in England. My fast rewind back to the age of 4 years old, as you've read my story. And at 4 years old, unconscious did I not know my life was already on a path that I myself can't even dream of where I am now. And in 1975, my life nearly could have not been. And I nearly died. And thankful for the doctors that saved my life. And now every day I get up in the morning and being grateful for one, just breathing. What happened? 1975, medicine wasn't that great in South Africa. I ended up having meningitis, and it was very much touch and go. Had I not noticed that I was limping, and my mom wasn't at home at the time, and I had to tell my grandma that I didn't feel too well, and I just thought it was normal childhood kind of things and kind of ignore it. But I persisted, and my grandma then said, "Go to your mom," who's just down the road by one of her friends. And I limped towards where my mom's friend was, crying because I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then things just suddenly turned to temperature. And my mom asked, "What's wrong?" I said, "I just don't feel like I can walk." And she realized suddenly that I wasn't normal, called my dad, quickly rushed to hospital. Long story short, I ended up in the children's hospital then. And that then became my home for the next 4 months. And as a 4 years old, you don't want to be separate from your parents, but that was necessary for me to recover. So that journey, I ended up in a hospital, which even as a 4 years old little girl, I wasn't scared, but I was inspired as a little girl to see the nurses, the doctors as my heroes. And that became my home. So I had to make it really, for me, it became like a story. The nurses were my carers. The matrons in those days were the heroes with their capes on, and the doctors were the superheroes in their white coats. And as a child, I was already there. And then you can actually remember things, and I can vividly remember one specific nurse who really took care of me. I can still remember what she bought me as treats. She used to bring me a nice hot drink, an apple, a green apple, and a packet of crisps called Masaris. I still remember it today. The red packet. But that's how vivid my memory is. And that day, unconsciously, I think I must have made a decision. I want to help people heal. That's where it started. And looking back, I realized the inspiration, me being ill, was no mistake. It set me for where I am today, helping, healing people through the mouth, but through the mind as well, because they're all connected.
That's so true. So you think that being in that situation actually inspired you to work in the kind of like the medical field? Because
Yes.
now you're into dentistry, you've been doing that for many, many years. And do you think that actually that trauma, what happened to you, you're like, oh my God, these people are helping me. I want to help others as well on top of everything else. And you thought, how did you come up with the fact that, how did you say, okay, I want to be in dentistry. This is where I want to be? Because it's, sometimes we have careers, especially with African parents, they start off with, you need to be a lawyer, or you need to be a doctor, or you need to, what inspired you to work in that industry?
My inspiration came from, I believe that was the seed of being something in health, and it never left me. Fast forward to high school, then you have to start making career decisions. We had career guidance, and it's at the age of 13, I just knew it. My aunt was a nurse, and she gave me my first set of dental mirrors, a probe. And I always kept that. And she also gave me a massive book, this thick, like the telephone book of Grey's Anatomy. It's what doctors use. And it's the most smallest micro prints that you could read. But I read it like a novel. And I just got inspired by that. That was one second seed planted. Finishing high school, just before our teacher said, "What would you like to become?" I said, "I want to become a doctor." Remember where it started?
Of course.
But then that kept going, and I applied for that. But I just knew I had to be something in the medical field. But my cousin's husband is the superintendent of one of our local hospitals. And one day my mom said, "Come and sit here and talk with Michelle." Just to diverge the story, prior to that, my mom knew she was my inspiration also. She also inspired me. And she bought me a set of medical encyclopedias from the A to Z of medical stuff. I became the junior doctor in the family. And everybody said, "I've got a headache." Aunts and uncles came, "I've got this." And I used to go into my encyclopedias and actually start diagnosing and giving them advice. And they believed me. And sometimes it worked. So anyway, that night my cousin came, Andre, my cousin and her husband, and said, Michelle, here's what's the reality. Medicine, this is what it involves. And then he said to me, have you ever thought of becoming a dentist? I said, no. Light bulb moment. I said, well, what? So you mean I could also do dentistry? I said, tell me more. And he says, well, if you're a doctor, you're going to work 24/7. You don't really get time for yourself and things like that. And you've got to be on call a lot. And I thought, I said, tell me about dentistry. He says, well, you don't have to work the hours I do. You don't have to give bad news to people. I said, okay, me being me is very soft. I don't think I could deliver bad news to people in the regard of dealing with death and stuff like that. And I said, I'm going to give it a go. And so I applied both for medicine and dentistry. And I got in for dentistry. And then my journey began. And that's where I ended up.
I love the fact that they planted the seeds very slowly. You know, they didn't actually say, we want you to do this. We want you to do. They kind of thought, we want her to probably go in that field because it probably is going to earn us some money. We won't have to worry about her. But then they were like planting it slowly by getting everybody in the family to bring the toys, to bring the little things for you to play with. And then they entertained you by actually playing along with the game. I mean, maybe that's what parents should do sometimes, you know?
Thanks to my mom. She saw the gift that I had, that I always wanted to do medical stuff. And I did pretty well in biology, science. Those were my favorite subjects.
So you're already integrated in that area.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's really good.
It's beautiful to want to help and heal other people. But for me, I looked at it and said, my heart is too soft to deliver bad news to people. And I think that was the decision for me to say. And also I said, well, I don't have to work so hard as what you do, on call 24/7, late at night, not seeing your family and all that. So I thought, no, that's a better one for me. It gives you a balanced work-life balance, and I was looking for that. But it's a secure job. And that's what my mom said. She saw that and said, get a secure job. She didn't have the opportunity, but she then nurtured me to say, I will make sure that you have that support, that you could follow your dream and not be deterred by money, because money wasn't really easy to come by. And I had to get a bursary to study for my degree. And so that was another stumbling block, because I thought we can't afford it. And had I believed that, I wouldn't be here today. Don't care about the money. If you want to do it, we'll find out somehow. And there's the story about do what you want to do, and the how is irrelevant. Dream big, and later on, those things will fall in place.
Take action. Take action steps. So how does your unique approach as a rapid transformation business strategist differ from traditional methods in enhancing the success of female dentists?
I was nearly going through the same, looking for answers. I had my own struggles as a student, but as an associate, then as a business owner, they're two different hats. I was 6 years an associate, then developed my own business. Here's the problem, Sandra. Nobody teaches us how to run a business. We're clinicians. And that's the biggest problem still in dentistry. So many years down the line, we qualify, graduate, off you go, open your practice. And then the stress becomes the issue.
Is it because they don't teach the subject of business in?
Not at all.
They don't integrate it in, you know, how we do modules in different like even in law school. I think we did business law, but obviously they didn't talk about how to run a business, to run a law practice. So I think you're right, and I don't think it's just in the dentistry industry. I think it's in most industries, especially when you're trying to fly on your own. I'm not saying maybe they assume that everybody's going to be working for someone else. And they're not thinking that actually people want more than just to work for other people. And then maybe that's why they don't prepare people for actually becoming entrepreneurs, becoming self-employed, running your own business, and how to do it so well so that you don't end up being burnt out and stressed. They were preparing people to just work for other people. Do you think that's how they did the training?
I think what dental school, medicine as well, you are trained as a clinician. Nowhere in the curriculum is there anything about business. And that's something you have to discover as you go along life's journey. You're going to have to go through the mistakes. And that's where I learned there is no course for dental people to go out and niche into that area, because it is quite a very complex industry.
Mm-hmm.
But therefore, in my 15 years of business, I fortunately discovered a way to do it. And it's not the way that traditional businesses do run. Yes, the same principles. My unique approach came from finding what worked for me
Mm-hmm.
is experience. I made a lot of mistakes. And I don't want any other female dentist out there to do the mistakes I did. And the first thing I learned is, who are you? What's your values? What do you stand for? What do you don't stand for? And if you understand as a clinician, you can be the best thing since sliced bread as a clinician. If nobody knows about you, you'll just be working as that business owner in another practice. And I learned that you have to position yourself in your community, in your business, in your team. And who would you like to be known for? Not just a dentist. And that sets you aside from the rest. So my approach is first getting to know thyself, psychology of the business owner.
Exactly. I really agree with you. I'm going to ask you, you have a Dental Profit Continuum Blueprint. Can you describe the core principles? I'm sure you probably have done that already, but just give us a bit more detail, the core principles of the Dental Profit Continuum Blueprint and how it has helped your female dentists double their profits while maintaining a healthy work-life balance.
That is something that I designed and created myself because I couldn't find it anywhere else. As I said, it's really hard in this industry. It's 7 steps in the dental blueprint. So the profit continuum helps. We focus so much on profit as normal business coaching, and that does profit, profit, profit. And when I discovered that and saying, yeah, it's okay to chase the money, the success, but that leaves you unfulfilled. How about going through life of achievement and fulfillment? As a result, you achieve the profit. So here's my 7 steps.
I'm Sandra Keimer. I'm an author, a coach, and a speaker. I have won the Transformation and Innovation Award. I've also been a nominee for Changing Future from London and home counties. On this channel, we believe that we all have the resources to fulfill our full potential in life. I would love for you to subscribe to this channel, like it, and share it. This will enable me to be able to bring on more guests. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the episode.
Number 1, I mentioned the psychology of the business owner. Secondly, who are the people that I want to work with? And I can only attract and recruit the right team if I know my values. What are my top values? And if you know that, you will recruit the right team. I unfortunately inherited a toxic team. I didn't know that at the time. And then that was my biggest turnaround, is know who I wanted to work with. Now you've got your people. Now you can decide, what do I want to serve my community with? Your product, your services. Notice they're all P's. Now you've got your product, your service. Now you set in place processes, systems for automating your things so that you're not chained to your chair. Now, following that, you've got your systems in place. Now you've got to go out to the market, go shout out what you do, your promotion, your marketing, advertising. Next, you've got that in line. Now you want to look at your positioning. As I said, who would I like to be known for in society? I am now known as the Smile and Mind Connector for my patients, but also for the female dentists that I'm coaching. As a result of all of that, default is your profit.
When money comes to you, it'll come to you in the order that it's supposed to come to you, and it'll come to you rightly when you're ready, when your mind is set. I love the fact you talked about getting the right people to work with you. because
So important.
that's very difficult. Managing people, HR, and talking to people.
A minefield.
It's a minefield because people come in strong and happy, and I want to be with you, I want to work with you, and they tick all the boxes, and then you get to do the work, take the action, and then it becomes a different kettle of worms, and you're like, oh, I hired the wrong person. What do I do now?
Is
And
the
then you've got to deal
mistake.
with HR, and then on top of that, you're dealing with not just doing your job, but also dealing with HR and how to manage a person. It's like you're being pulled one side and then you're being pulled another side, and you still have to make a profit.
Exactly. It's exactly why suddenly as a clinician think, but nobody told me how to manage people.
Mm,
Nobody told me how to deal with these things and people with all their different personalities. And this is where the biggest thing was recruitment. And everybody's struggling today with short staff of the right team members. They're
mm,
there.
mm,
But if you have a right recruitment system process, you will filter out the wrong ones, attract the right ones. But when you do that, you have to have vision and purpose. And that's why the team I have now, as you can see in the background, we
mm,
actually had the finalists twice in a row, 22, 23, as
mm.
dental finalist. And I thought, wow, with a team like that, I can go anywhere.
Amen.
So we were basically nominated in a lot of categories at
Mm,
the Private Dentistry Awards last year in London. And
yes.
that makes me feel proud.
I'm so
Thank
proud
you.
of you. I'm proud of the fact that you set this up and you know it works. What I also wanted to touch on was being burnt out,
Oh,
because
yes.
you can't treat someone, you can't serve your clients or your customers, you can't serve when you're burnt out, when you're stressed.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do that. I mean, honestly, you're more likely to make mistakes and
Oh,
the mistakes
yes.
cost you, and then then the depression will come in anyway. It'll kick in somewhere along the line because you're worried about the mistakes that you've made, and not realizing that actually the problem is you don't know how to run a business properly, and separating the fact that, okay, yes, I'm a fantastic dentist, but now I have to be an amazing business owner, and they're two separate things which have to merge at the same time for you to actually make a good profit, so that everyone's happy, the clients are happy, and your pockets are happy too at the same time. As a smart and mind conscious connector, what strategies do you employ to help clients connect with their authentic selves, and how does this impact their professional and personal lives?
That is a deep one because through my own journey of burnout, I've gone through that. You can find yourself really in that hole where you're just on the hamster wheel of life, just working, 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 and feeling unfulfilled. And that's when you realize you need to stop, step back. And that's what I did. Most important thing is learn the things you don't know, leadership courses, get a coach that can help you and get you through those moments of where you're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I did everything non-dental in the last 4 years, did a lot of personal development courses. Through that journey, and lots of people think, yeah, I can do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck to that. You
I
can't.
love that, because you can't.
You
And I
can't
think,
if you don't
yeah,
know it.
I read your book. You said,
Okay.
I lost my drive, my poor diet, and lack of sleep. And you said the best thing I could do, or the best thing I did, was ask for help. For some reason,
Yes.
why is it so hard for us to ask for help? What do you think that is?
I think with females, it shows a sign of weakness. And I think a lot comes from, in my background, it's also cultural norms, traditions, that it could be an embarrassment. We all
Mm-hmm.
struggle. Now, no matter if you're a dentist, doctor, doesn't matter. We have our struggles. And I think the public's perception is also probably perceived as you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you earn a lot of money. Why are you struggling? But they
Mm-hmm.
don't know our inner struggles because nobody taught us how to manage people, run a business. And when things go wrong, where do we go to? So my strategy was to one, ask for help for people that's been there, done that, and they can shorten the pain journey for the mistakes I made and the loss of income, my health. And I said, whoa, I had major issues in my practice years ago where I was struggling with people management to the extent that I lost my hair. I said,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. No,
Enough is enough.
no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. And I said, what do I not know? And you, as a business owner, you have to carry different hats. And I'm the clinician business owner. And through my journey, I came across some really incredible coaches. One of them that you also follow, Dr. John DeMartini.
I love Dr. John.
His philosophy, I call him the modern day Aristotle. The
Nice.
7 areas of life. If you don't know that and master that, if you don't empower the areas of your life, somebody else will empower that. You've got to work the hours. You have got to work, they say. You've got to take holidays when they say. You've got to earn the money they say you are worth, your self-worth. But something bigger than that happened to me, Sandra. I had an awakening of who I am. 4 years ago, I had a massive turnaround, and it was a spiritual awakening. And this is nothing woo-woo. And I find a lot of people now, and we almost shy away from talking about spirituality in business. That's what allowed me to become who I am today. I was shy to talk about it. And then later on, I said, why should I? We all are spiritual beings having a human experience. And when you step into your heightened awareness of who you are as a human being, nothing can knock you over. I did the Tony Robbins fire walk.
Nice.
And I realized, wow, COVID happened. It did not curtail me from my vision. There's bends in the river, as my coach Peter Sage said, but it's always in the direction of your vision. Those little bends are the learning lessons in life. Take the lesson, leave the experience there, leave your ego there and say, what did I learn from it? So what my strategy is, I go into a higher level of conscious awareness. I help people to not fix their brokenness, because none of us are broken. Not broken. Stop fixing yourself. We are powerful creators. And when I discovered that, I realized I would have gone down the wrong route. As a lot of personal development can say, you got to fix yourself. You got to do this, do that, and that. And I realized, no, as human beings, we are designed to look at problems, and we always focus on the negativity of things. What I do, I say straight away, what would you love to create for your life, for your business, your personal life, your career, your finance, your health, your vitality, your adventure, your fun? Those are key areas. And then spirituality, which many of us forget. Once you step into your higher purpose of who you are consciously, because most of us are walking through life unconsciously, and I step people into that level, but it takes a journey to awaken to that. We have a choice. You don't have to be stuck in your job, chained to your chair. You don't have to work 5 days a week. I work 3 days a week. I earn more working less, feeling fulfilled to do more of what I love without the burnout.
Do you know what I love? I love the work-life balance, because what people don't understand is when you give yourself work-life balance, when leaders or you give you that work-life balance, they get more. You get more out of it. People work more because they know that they after they've done the 3 days, they've delivered a service which is excellent. It's got to be an excellent service because it's a great 3 days, and then they've also been able to have that freedom to be themselves. And I think once we all understand that work-life balance is so important, and it actually delivers the results that you want, but not in a toxic way. People, I mean, there'll be joy in this world, I'm telling you that.
This is what I'm trying to spread, is that you can love what you do and do what you love. I used to also think that work-life balance, which is kind of cliche now, and I came up with my concept. Why not work-life integration? Your business must support the lifestyle you want, whereas most of us do the other way around. I'm working on the hamster wheel. Your business is driving you down into the ground. And for me, I discovered self-mastery. And then a higher level of that is called self-mastery, because what I now understand in a conscious way, my thoughts create my emotions create my behavior. So where would I like to start? Thought first.
That's where the faith comes in.
Thought, that's the seed. Change your thoughts. But here's the problem. This is in my coaching modality which involves NLP and different modalities of coaching. But bring in all of that. I'm a multidimensional coach. I wasn't just born to do one thing, just be a dentist. And this is where I discovered my other skills. And I take people from their current reality, their programming from childhood, which usually happens between 3 and 7, and we're stuck with this blueprint. But that's not who we are. And it's suppressed upon us through teachers, parents, our role models, school, university, etc. And I look at that blueprint and we recode it into being a creative solution focus rather than problem solution. I wasn't brought up the right way. I didn't come from the right family. We can't afford it. This doesn't happen to people like us. Limiting beliefs. You see how you can become conscious? This holds us back. But when you become a creative solution focused business owner, you can create the life you want and say, this is the business I desire. This is how my business is going to feed the personal life that I want. And you've got to believe it first, but we've got to first deal with this the suppression of the limiting beliefs, the conditioning of childhood. So if you uncondition that, you can recode the person and put some new beliefs, new coding in, and then they can go forward in life believing a new blueprint. It's like software. It's outdated. So remove that software, upgrade it, and now you can live the life you want through that new software. And sometimes you have to work on the hardware as well. So I try and meet people where they're at and then take them on that journey to transformation from the inside out. And I do it with my patients. They come here with broken teeth, unhappy, going through life's thing, through divorce, through death, all sorts of things. And I look at where they're at and say, I don't ask them what's wrong with their teeth. I said, what's happening in life?
Right.
I dive through that, which is why they got stress. Stress from here breaks your teeth. Lack of self-care, lack of self-esteem, self-confidence, depression, suicide, is all of that. I deal with that every day in my chair.
Do you know, I love that. You know, can I say something? The reason why I said that, because remember, many, many years ago, because I have a 22-year-old now, and when she was about 4 or 5, I took her to the dentist, I think, for the first time, and I was struggling with her. And I remember saying to the dentist, can you help me? Can you remind her that she has to brush her teeth every day? Actually just said, you're the mother, you do your job. And I thought, how rude. And the fact that you actually connecting that there's something going on for that person, because sometimes people come, like, I don't know, doctors probably face this all the time. People come to you with a problem. Your job is to fix the teeth. They're going to come back next month or the month after that because they're going to have a similar problem. And the reason why they've got that similar problem, because you actually haven't got to the root of the problem. The root might not be the teeth. The root is what's actually going on at home, or what's actually going on in their environment that's actually not allowing them to spend that time with their teeth and brush their teeth to make their teeth better, or so that they don't have that continuous problem ongoing on and on and on. So you're actually getting to the, and I know it sounds really weird talking about this, because when
no pun intended there, you said that the root of the problem.
People come to the dentist saying, oh, my gums are bleeding, or this is happening, but nobody actually consciously thinks, is it because you're stressed? Is it because there's other things going on with you? Or is it because you haven't had taken time out for yourself? How long do you spend on brushing your teeth? Are you always rushing to get to work? Are you always late for work? When you're always late for work, are you actually brushing your teeth properly? If you're always late for work, why are you always late for work? Are you having arguments at home? It could be the person is depressed. It could be the person is going through bereavement. It could be the person's going through heartbreak. It could be any sort of reason, but because you've taken that time out to actually look at that root, you're actually curing the problem, because you don't want the problem to continue on and on. And funny enough, I'm going to pretend I'm the patient because I'm not a dentist, so I'm going to be the patient. We patients think, oh, my gums are bleeding, I'm going to go to the dentist. We go to the dentist, the dentist does something, whatever they put in the filling in, they fix whatever they need to fix. Things are okay for a couple of months, and then it comes back again. My gums are bleeding, and we go back again with the same issue. And then we start thinking, oh, the dentist is not doing their job properly, because my gums have always been bleeding. I've been to the dentist several times. Why am I not getting any better? Do I need to go to another dentist? Actually, maybe you need to go back and find out what's actually going on with you.
What's missing Do you know the biggest, you touched on that one point, and I love how you put it, the root of the problem, as that's the pun in dentistry. That's exactly what I go with coaches. Well, get down to the root of the problem. So we uplift it and saying behavior, habits, we have patterns as human beings. And as we know, we hate getting out of our comfort zone. And suddenly the dentist said, you need to floss, you got to brush twice a day, got an electric brush, you got to do this, that, change your diet. We're not going to do that because we don't understand why. Nobody explained to that patient the risk. And so today with different practices in NHS practice, private practices, we have more time as a private practitioner. But I feel saddened that there isn't enough time to educate the patients. That little bit of education can go a long way. But it's drill and fill, drill and fill. Nobody's getting better. It's being reactive. I'm very proactive with my patients. So that's exactly, I can help people more by finding out what's happening in life. And the first thing is saying, exactly the same. Oh, my dog's died. I've gone through divorce. My daughter's not healthy, looking after my parents and stuff. So how can they fit that in? It's not a priority on the list. And going back again on the psychology, what's highest on their values list right now? It's not their teeth. So are they going to listen to us?
No.
So this is why they don't get better. But if we explain in a way to serve them, not to sell to them dentistry, this is where I discovered I always ask, how can I serve this patient? And they always come out of my surgery and they say to that, I was like, oh my God, I feel so enlightened. I feel so light. And so we always educate, we always learn something when we come to Michelle. And isn't that nice to know? And it's not about what I do, Sandra. As Maya Angelou said, it is how I make people feel long after they've experienced what I did to them. And you just have to go to our Google reviews. And I said to my team, well done. It's about that. It's not about my dentistry. If they feel they've been treated well, and here's my philosophy. I have a market town in Halesworth near Norwich in Southwold, around Southwold area. People come from all over, from London, Manchester. They drive all over. I said, why would you come past so many dentists to come and see me? They say, we want the experience because what they've seen on Google reviews. And I now call it the Michelaising hashtag experience. I said, they want the Michelaising experience. And they come for the way they feel after they leave. And my philosophy is always, you come like a stranger because you don't know me. And we're always scared and phobia, like, I don't know what it's going to be like, which is why we take so long to change dentist. You become a friend, but you always leave like family.
What are the key outcomes that the clients that you'll be coaching or that you coach through your transformation coaching? What tools or techniques do you use to facilitate this, in order to get them results? Elaborate a bit more on that.
When it comes to coaching clients, is finding out, because most of the time they feel stuck in life, they don't know where they're at, and they feel unfulfilled, but they don't know that. And as a coach, I'm there to be a canvas where, and here's the biggest thing, we're so busy in life. In my diary is give them structure. I didn't have structure as well because you're firefighting, just fighting fires every day. And that's exhausting. Plus patient complaints, you go home, your family, you don't have time for your kids to really listen to them, for your partner, let alone for yourself, your health. Put on your own oxygen mask first, I said. I used to always help others. So my first thing is, what are you doing for yourself? Self-care, self-love. So I deep dive into that. And we, as women especially, by nature, we're nurturers, looking after the family, never for ourselves.
I think
this is what I tell.
I fall into that trap all the time. And you think, after I've looked after that person, I can look after myself. But the truth is, you're so burnt out, you probably just collapse on the sofa because you don't have time for yourself. Do you think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, that type of thing? Like, when we help other people, we feel fulfilled. So
I believe so.
You think it's because we see that as an achievement? Like, if I can make you happy and I can put a smile on your face and I can tick that box, and when I say, you okay? And you say, I'm good, I'm okay, that's kind of fulfilled me because now I've made you okay. would you call that self-fulfilling prophecy? We see it as a fulfillment, even though it's not a fulfillment in the long run. Do we see that that's why we disguise it as a fulfillment?
Thank you. Thank you for asking. That is interesting you asked that, because it is actually one that we do. Yes, for an example, if I do something nice for you, who feels better?
I'd feel better because you've done something to me, like for me. And then you also should feel better because you've done something nice for someone.
Yeah. So there's the false belief. For instance, you go on the street, there's a beggar on the street, and we feel sorry for him. He's begging. Think, okay, I can afford to give him some money. We don't do it to make the beggar feel better. We do it for us to feel better. Unconsciously, we don't realize that. We feel rewarded by giving that beggar money. Here's the same with people. If I do something nice for somebody and make them feel that they have a meaningful relationship with me, it makes me feel good. We think we're making the other person feel good, but this is the problem with especially females. Your blueprint of upbringing, I'm going to do something nice for you in order for me to feel good, in exchange to be liked, to be loved, unconsciously. So sometimes we overgive because it fulfills us for what's missing in us. I want to feel loved. So my exchange, I'm going to keep giving until, as you said, we collapse, we burn out. But what we don't realize unconsciously, we are looking and wanting to receive more love, which was lacking when we were young as children or as teenagers or as adults. So we unconsciously do that exchange. I do something good for you. It makes me feel good. But it's a lack of being loved. And it's a pattern we pick up as adults from childhood. If I didn't receive that, I have to give something in exchange to receive love unconsciously, to be liked. In order to be liked, we give in exchange to get it back. But that's short.
The reason why you burn out is because you've given so much of your energy out, whether it's time, whether it's you're just giving so much energy out. You're actually giving spiritual. That's when we're going back to spiritual, right?
Yeah.
You're giving your energy, but you're depleting.
You're depleted to the extent where the energy vampires are going to take advantage of you. Watch out for that. And I've been exposed to that, where you give. And I didn't realize that, Sandra, until I became aware of it consciously. I was unconsciously giving until my cup ran empty. You've got to stop sometimes and be selfish and say, enough's enough. Go and replenish. Because how can you be at peak performance as a business owner to your team, to yourself, and to your patients? And that's where mistakes happen. And in our industry, one slip up is going to leave you with a lot of stress. We get litigation is high. You go to the General Dental Council and you have sleepless nights. Nobody knows what you go through, and you still have to go to work with this black cloud over you, not knowing whether this case is going to go blame, shame, or you get out of it. It is the biggest scare thing in our industry. If we slip up, there's the problem. So take care of your health and of your mind first.
There's one thing you said in your book, talking about failures, because when you slip up, because we always sometimes
easily.
Sometimes we don't always get everything right. There's something you said, change the meaning you give to the word failure, because there's people who are listening. Some people would have said, well, I've failed already, or I'm failing right now. How do I deal with the failures? How do I deal with not doing so well? Because at the moment I'm not doing so well. How did you change the meaning to the word failure?
That's important. I've just this weekend helping a young dental hygienist who wanted to get in, and she said, but I keep failing and I keep failing. It was so disheartening for her. She's so young. And I said, my darling, it's the meaning you give failure. Failure is only feedback. If we see it as such, feedback, hey, this is what I'm doing well. This is what I'm not doing so well. Here's what I'm okay. If you just tweak a little bit, few things, it teaches you where you need to add on to that experience. It's experience. as a series, and spiritually, I discovered that as well. The universe is giving you opportunities. And like sometimes I say, oh my God, that I didn't get that job. I feel rejected. Biggest human thing, emotion we can't deal with. And I'm going to come to that shortly. So if you didn't get in for that job, we say, I'm no good. I'm useless. I'm not worthy of this job. And then you go back to your default. You are successful alone by applying for that job, having the confidence to even try, where so many don't even try and apply.
Yes. I love it because, and I love it. I love the way you're saying it, because sometimes when we take feedback sometimes as criticism. Like, that person just doesn't like me because, or they're just jealous.
The
Or
negative Nancy comes in.
yes, it just comes and talks to us. It's so difficult, I think. And sometimes I feel like sometimes it's the way people actually criticize you. You have the ones that will say it in a way that, I think you're rubbish at blah, 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 blah. Or someone will come and be constructive in the way they criticize you. But you can't always teach people how to criticize you constructively, because not everybody has it in them. But what you can teach yourself is how to deal with the criticism when it comes to you fiery. But you'd be like, okay, thank you for the fire. How do I water it so that it dies down, so that I can come back to myself again? And recognizing that, okay, I've failed in this area. I haven't done things correctly in that area. So this is what I'm going to do to improve. Or maybe I need to think about a different career, and maybe I need to get support and get help in how to deal with that situation better. And as I think it's important to understand that sometimes you can't control the person who's giving you feedback, because some people say things and they don't even know they're saying them in a bad way. As far as they're concerned, that's how they express themselves, and that's their opinion of your work, of what you do. And you can't control what comes out of someone's mouth, but you can control what's in your mind and how you deal with it. And we come back again and again to the spiritual side of it, because if your spirit is strong, it can deal with the fire.
So right. And you touched on again that one thing is the word failure is your meaning, and perspective is so important in context. So if you perceive that as failure, whereas the other person was only giving positive feedback to help you on your journey. And yes, if I didn't get in for that interview, it's lovely that give you feedback. Here's what you could have done that might have helped. Then maybe next interview would be better. So we as human beings don't deal with that negative emotion of rejection, abandonment. And so when somebody in an interview as an adult, it goes right back to that childhood. Somewhere along the journey, it takes you right back to rejection and abandonment issues. So if we don't deal with that as adults, then every opportunity in life is going to be, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable, I'm not perfect, I'm not worthy. It just doesn't happen to people like me. And these negative Nancy words, always the doubting Debbies come into play. How do you deal with them? I get them sometimes. My way of dealing with that. And if people are conscious of that inner talk and how to deal with that demon, you got to face it head on and saying, this person, bless them, sometimes that rejection is God's protection.
I was going to say that. It was coming in. I was thinking about that, because sometimes when we get rejected, we're like,
not for you.
They talk to me, or like we feel sorry for ourselves, but really and truly, that may not have been for you.
It's protecting you.
That thing that you may have had may not have been for you. That could have crushed you. That could have destroyed your entire life. That might destabilize what you already have, and maybe what you already have needs to be protected by actually someone saying no to you, saying actually you're not the right person this time. Maybe they're protecting you from something that they can't tell you, and spiritually you don't know what it is, but God is protecting you, and you have to just say, every rejection is not a rejection.
Protection.
Protection.
And there again, the meaning you give it. My meaning of rejection says probably just meant. And so I've learned to deal with negative input, but it's the meaning I give it, and I love it when people say, at work, you get office politics. She made me feel bad. You made me feel small. You make me feel so patronizing and stuff like that. You get all this kind of, because in office politics, don't you? Here's the power you give away. Nobody can make you feel small. Nobody can make you feel whatever you give it a name for, because you are giving your power away to that person that hasn't even a clue you feel small by whatever they said. It is your inner demons from childhood that you unconsciously are carrying through life, and it triggers you. And so sometimes people will do that, but it's to make you stronger. Consciously say, well, maybe it's an area I need to grow on, and to have a neutral state about it. And I always say, it's okay if I get it. And if I don't get it, it's okay too. Either way, I'm okay.
But let's be honest, Michelle, we've learned that through coaching.
Of course.
Once you get, it's so important for people to get coaching by the right coaches. Obviously, everyone, no coach is going to be the right person for you, but
it's be the right fit.
Yeah. So in your book, you mentioned that getting the right coaching helps you minimize your mistakes. Number one. You also said number two, that it highlights your blind spots, because we all have blind spots. And it'd be nice if someone can come to you and say, listen, maybe do this instead of doing that. That might just help you. Maybe tweak something a little bit here. That might just help you move forward to the next following step that you're trying to get to. And I think that's very important. I love the way you mentioned that. And also celebrate the small wins and the big wins. And I remember when I first started getting coaching, I was like, they were like, the first thing they'll come up with is, celebrate what did you do well this week? And I was like, why did I always ask that question? But then I realized actually it makes you feel good. It makes you feel so good that you can say, okay, well, it's like gratitude, isn't it? So
yes.
Before there must be, I'm not sure who I got it from, but now I make my daughter actually write down what was good about today.
Well done.
Before she goes to bed, so she has to write down in her journal what was good about today, and that's what she has to do. And I don't know, I overheard someone saying it. That's what they've that's what they're training people to do, because when you go to bed feeling great, you're gonna get up thinking, okay, what's the next thing I can do? Because there's always something good about the day. It can't be all bad. There's always something that you can get out of the day. Okay, you may have cried at one particular moment, or within a specific hour. However, there's also a joy. Someone may have come to you and done something nice for you that you probably don't remember because you're too overwhelmed with the tears that you actually don't remember what the nice thing was. So it's good to actually train your brain to always think of the positives. Like always think, okay, there's always a lesson to learn in every situation that I'm in, and there's always something good out of every situation I'm in. I feel so spiritual right now.
That's all about, and this is what I want to give to the listeners out there, is get connected with yourself. We all are spiritual beings, as I said, and it's a lot to do with energy, as words carry energy. And so what you say, we don't want to be too filtered with certain words. That person can be offended, because by the time it comes out here, we've already filtered it, but the receiver has got their own filter and the meaning they give those words, and think, well, that was not my intention. And this is the problem with, as you said, gratitude is so important. We are so wired for negativity and think, they're out to get me. And so we're always thinking, and so grateful for you that teaching your daughter about gratitude, that she looks at not the negative of what happened today, and out of every day, even my patients, and they come, this is happening, and we do complain the weather and stuff, and say, hey, at least you can complain about the weather.
I love that. At least you can complain about the weather. That should be a t-shirt on there. At least you can complain about the weather. It's sad.
My patients complain. I said, hey, my nurses, something, that phone keeps ringing. I said, thank God we've got a ringing phone. How many people would wish their business phone would be ringing with inquiries? The meaning you give to things. And so I teach my team as well a lot, and to show them that they have more in them than what they believe. And it's just because of their conditioning. Bless them, because they just don't realize that I help people awaken to who they truly, their authentic selves, and align. And one coach also told me, when we get stuck in life, your head says that one because that's a conditioning, but your heart says this way. If you can get your heart and your head in a line to your true north, just go with that. Filter out the noise and just say, if that's what I want to do, it's got to be a decision like that. I want to do that. I want to be a dentist. I want to be a coach. Whatever it is for you, your intuition must be strengthened, and listen to the inner voice. The answer is already within us. It's not out there. And I also went outside external, The more you go look outside, it goes further away from you. Why? Because it's in here. Go within, go quiet, and use your routines in the morning before you get up. And just set your intention for the day. If you set that intention, manifest it, it normally works out that way. And whatever comes out as the noise of life, your intention is, that's what I want to achieve today. Visualize that. When you forward visualize, and this is what I do a lot, bring forward what you desire. And you can create the life you want. We've got current reality, desired reality. What's in the way? The conditioned mind. Remove the conditioning, recode it. Take that condition away, and you go from here to there effortlessly. That's it.
It comes back to the mind all the time. It comes back to the mindset. And it's funny enough, when we go to start in life and go to school and we come out of school, we don't think about our mind, how we have to protect our minds, and how we have to make sure when we face challenges, our minds actually are in line. We can overcome those challenges. And I do have to say, there's another thing as you talked about in your book, confidence versus courage.
Wow. Big one.
Let's talk about confidence versus courage. I want everyone to hear it. I want to hear it myself. So let's do this.
Myself included. Total lack of confidence from child. I was a shy person. You wouldn't say that now. And you couldn't get a word out of me in school. I used to be the shy girl sitting in the back of the class and never voiced myself. I think this is going to get me nowhere. So as years went by, even at university, and I looked at confidence and I say, what is it with confidence? And I even ask people now, what do you think is most important? Confidence or courage? And many females tell me confidence. Because I lack self-confidence, I can't do that. I can't go for that job. I can't speak on here. I don't want to be, I could never be in front of the camera and speak so freely to you, Sandra, but what helped me mostly, and I thought, is lack of self-confidence. So I go work. So see, they're working on what's broken, lack of self-confidence. I was wrong. It's not confidence, lack of self-confidence. Here's the missing link. And as I went through my journey of my coaching, the penny dropped. I was looking for the wrong thing. I drink some special alkaline water, which is another story I'll tell you about. Water, oh my gosh, water's energy. So important to respect water.
I believe that 100%.
So important to hydrate yourself. We're talking about confidence and courage. So here's what my discovery was. I was searching for building my confidence, going through different courses and stuff, working on myself, being comfortable who I am and in front of a camera. And then I went on public speaking courses, and that helped me a lot. But the biggest thing we get wrong is I need courage first. If you have courage, and it comes from the Latin word cuore, meaning heart, you've got to have the heart to get out of your comfort zone, Michelle. You've got to get the heart to put yourself out there. It is not, and the most important thing, one of my coaches, thank you, all my coaches that taught me. I had so many, invested so much money in coaching more than dentistry. And my friends all think, Michelle, why are you doing all these courses? They also saw the change in me, the courage I had to do what I'm doing now. And it is to say, cuore, heart-driven purpose. It's here. Your heart knows it. Your intuition sits there. And you've got to sit in that quiet moment. If you're stuck in life, just go within, meditate, and sit there in that quietness. Your conscious mind becomes awakened. Because going through life unconscious through our patterns and our defaults, I always do that. I'm always that kind of person. Really? I believe you can change, because that person is a conditioned person. And deep down, they always desire, oh, I'd love to do that. But that's not who I am. No, you're conditioned to be that person. And sometimes as dentists, some of us don't even love our jobs. And it's okay to recourse and redirect your career if you're not fulfilled in it. So courage is first. And through courage comes self-confidence. What I realized, the difference between male and females, not just in dentistry. Males are acting competent, but they lack self-confidence after. And I'm generalizing here, males. But what I realized, they just go and do it. They don't overthink it. As boys, they said, oh, I want to be a fireman. I want to be Spider-Man, action man. They just dream it. As children, we don't have limitations. But through schooling, they impose limitations. But females, they first want to build the confidence, which could take them years. And when they feel confident, that might be 2, 3, 5 years, myself included. It's got to be perfect. And then we get it out there. Hey, perfect imperfections. Practice.
Do you think it's the society has actually allowed us to behave that way, and the environment?
Sure.
I wouldn't say I had confidence, but I always spoke out. I remember in the science subject that we had in school, one of my teachers actually put all the boys on the higher science paper. I don't know why it came into my brain to actually say to this guy, why is it just the boys on the higher science? I said, but all the boys are on a higher paper. What happened to the girls? I wasn't trying to be confident. I was more like saying, I've noticed something that I think we need to just address this. I didn't see it as a problem either. I just thought, isn't that weird? Why are the boys on the high science paper and the girls are on the lower science paper? Even at that moment, because I was such a child, I wasn't even trying to say there's a problem. I just pointed out something that was...
You spoke your heart.
I spoke my heart. And my heart got me, I won't say it got me into trouble, but he said to me, okay, Sandra, if you want to be on a higher paper, you need to come after school and do the after school lessons. And that's how I got I passed my GCSE science, because I got my C's. But I don't think I would have got my C's if I never said anything, because he would have put me on a foundation paper, and the foundation paper, you can get a C, but it's more of a struggle. If you're on a higher paper and you work really hard and you do well, you're more likely to get a C, A, B, or C. I know you were talking about confidence and courage. I don't think it was I had to have courage or confidence. I just had to see a situation. I thought, I didn't even say it was wrong. I just thought, why?
But where do you think that comes from, to have that moment of just to approach him on that?
I don't know, but then that's how I've always been, but that's always got me into trouble. So and I think some people have natural confidence, and then it's taken away from them slowly. And I'm
eroded.
Yes. So I think when I was a young child, for some reason, I always asked, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And I did that in school, but I realized that not everybody wanted me to ask those questions, because that meant we need to stay a bit longer in class to explain the answer. Or even at university, I remember one boy saying, do you know what? I just don't like Sandra because she's always asking questions. But that's how I got by. That was him taking away my confidence to speak. And funny enough, when you talk, you think, or when the way he said it was to say, whatever you're saying, we don't want to hear it. But to me, that's how it sounded. And then I just thought, you know what, actually, maybe I am too much. Maybe I'm overdoing this. Maybe I need to retreat. And that's where my confidence is eroded, like you said. Now is, how am I going to get the courage to do it again? I can't, because the confidence is gone.
So there's the dilemma. Do I need courage to get that back, or do I need the confidence? You've always had it. You always had it, Sandra.
Yes, everybody probably has confidence.
We have
courage, because somewhere along the line, somebody has eroded their confidence to the point where now they have to find courage to get it back.
But that's why I was saying in my book that we actually get it the wrong way. For me, I believe is that people work so hard on self-confidence, but what's the problem there? The negative Nancy's come in. You don't have it. You're not good enough. You're not perfect. All of that. But where you say, if it comes from the heart, nothing stands in your way, not this negative. So it's to quieten the mind, open up the heart. Your heart is the captain of your dreams and desires. This is just conditioned. And so we got so used to the default. The man doesn't know what is real or not. And so if you allow it to condition you through life constantly, and the heart's desires just burning to say, do you know what? I know I could do that. You're always going to live in a conditioned, unconscious life, which keeps you constantly unfulfilled. And you lie in your deathbed one day and you say, do you know what? I just wish I had the courage to speak up, to say my say. And when we ask why as kids, it's because they have questions that helps them fill the gaps in order for them to make sense of the world. And when we ask questions, it is your way of filling that knowledge gap. And it's important. I say I love people asking questions, because questions answers that what they don't know. So never stop people and say, I'm glad you ask. And when some people just suppress you that as a child, and then from maybe somewhere in your childhood, whether through your role models, parents, whatever, children should be seen, not heard. That subconscious belief is always playing in the background. It's like permafrost. And so when that person said that to you, it reinforced, I am speaking too much.
Maybe I am too much.
So it reinforced your limiting belief. That's all it is. And so don't let somebody else's view and perspective of you become your reality. It's imposed. So you have to come from heart-centered, your vision of who you want to be and stand in this world. You got to take to be the director of your life. Many people come as co-stars into our life, and we give them the script. You direct my life.
Don't do
No,
that.
don't. Take back your script and become the director of your life. I don't want co-stars in my movie. Sorry, I'm the main star. I have to have that confidence, but that comes again from courage to go through, even if there's something like Vishnu kind of said, you got to bend reality, but through this, not through that. And therefore I use it as the smile in mind connector. If you want to smile, I do some lovely smile designs, beautiful smiles. And I realized years ago, some of my patients are still unhappy. I said, I just did you a beautiful smile. And I realized something's missing. They're not happy in here.
In here.
That's why I went through that. My patients taught me that. Michelle, there's something missing still. And now I'm coaching my patients even. I'm busy coaching my patients with suicide, stress. They're on antidepressants, all sorts. Unhappy with life. And I see it because I'm wired in with the universe. And I can sense that they are low level energy. And I vibrate at a higher level of awareness and consciousness. And so, yes, COVID's happened. My business was shut for 3 months. But guess what, Sandra? 2022, I was half in my profits. 1 year post-COVID, business closed. We needed help. And the government didn't support dentists. I doubled my turnover.
Get
My
out.
profit
Yeah,
increased.
look at that.
1 year into post-COVID.
Wow.
How is that possible?
How is
And
that possible?
there's my dental blueprint,
It's
the profit
amazing.
continuum. And so if I can do it in that kind of environment, I've discovered a way, and I've got a brilliant team. My team doubled up. And I was thinking, I did something right here. And I developed this system, and it's all about systems. If you don't have systems, things don't work. Strategy. You've got to have that automation. And now with AI, even better.
Even better.
We can now use AI automation for our businesses. And that's where I'm at the moment, using AI with my marketing and stuff, systemizing processes. I love that. So this is what gave me the success where I am now, that I've built a business that will stand the test of time. I bought it in the recession 2009.
I read that. And
Another recession. Bring it on.
bring it on, because I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. My mind, my faith,
Yes,
is ready to do
keeps you strong no matter what. And I've even just a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, again, I had an accident. It was it was very spiritual for me. I left home 5 minutes up the road, and I wasn't even driving fast. And we live in a forest area, and straight, the forest is right on the edge of the road, and I was just coming on, and a deer stag with massive horns just went right into my car, damaged it. And in that moment, I saw the eye, and I'll never forget it. I saw the spirit of that animal, and that's my spirit guide, is the stag. Follows me every night. I see a deer wherever I go. But I realized, and all in that moment, if that had come through my front windscreen, I don't know what could have happened. But in that moment of that accident, I just said, gratitude, thank you, thank you.
Amen. Amen. There's one thing about, I think we touched on was failures, how to deal with your failures. Because I think what it is, we may have the courage, but the reason why we're so fearful is because we're afraid of failing. But we have to understand that failure is part of life. Failure is when you get up and say, okay, I'm going to try again. And then I'm going to find out, I'm going to get the help that I need. I'm going to find out how to get the support and the help that I need to get this thing going. And if I can't get that and that's not in my remit, then I'm going to move on to something else. And I think we need to be confident in and have the courage to fail and be confident to say to people, look, okay, yeah, I failed. Let's move on. Let's start again. Let's do something else. Maybe that's not for me. It's the fear of failure that sometimes stops us from having the courage to do the things that we need to do or the things that we ought to do. It's good to have the confidence and to have the courage, but then when you start fearing failure, like, oh my God, I failed, or I didn't do so well, and rejection, as we talked about rejection,
Yeah.
if we can learn how to deal with those things, then we will walk through life a little bit lighter. I'm not say that you can't cry, because it's good to cry, but it'll be a bit lighter. We can be grateful. We're still here. We failed. We can cry a little bit and then move on to other things, and then maybe there'll be better things as well.
Yeah.
And I think you faced your failures by starting the business in 2009 in the recession. That's courage.
That took courage to take it. There was nobody. I was just fortunate in that time. Banks weren't loaning money to dentists because it was a risk. I managed to get out. I said, Sandra, I came into this country with no money. I came to this country with no money, just my luggage, a little bit of money just to start in the first month. And I said, my future's here. And I never looked back. And it was hard. It wasn't easy. And people look at us, we have our own setbacks in life, but it's not about the setback. It's about the getting up. Is having that courage to get up and not just lay down there and say, it's useless. If our parents said, keep crawling, we'd never be walking today.
Amen. Amen.
We got to look at that thing and saying, life's a series of lessons. And if you avoid it now, you're only going to face it again and double that. Like the tallest trees, the oak trees stand in the strongest winds. And so if you want to weather the storms, your roots are going to go deeper and stronger and anchor you for the next challenge in life. Can't have challenge without change.
I do agree with you 100%. I want to ask you one last question. And I ask this question all the time. What would you like the world to know? What words or sentence would you like the world to hear from you as a gift to the world?
That's a good question there. My gift to the world is, biggest thing the world needs is unconditional love for yourself first. If we can do that, it has a ripple effect across the universe. Forgiveness is not the word we think it is, literally. If I forgive you, it means I give you love. Love is what heals the world. Forgiveness is meaning giving love. But there's the unconditional part. I don't expect anything back. It's so beautiful. The world will heal with that. So if somebody does you harm, don't give it back, because that gives the ripple effect out in the universe. Things are happening out in the world with what's happening with the political climate across the world. But if you yourself can give love for yourself, stop self-sabotaging you, because you're special. You came here for a reason and a purpose. Go on that journey and find out what it is. It's unconditional love. And there's the 6 basic human needs, is knowing what they are, what's not fulfilling you. And those are the things like being significant, being certain, having variety in life, having unconditional love, the capital L. Most important is finding the growth that you need to do and contribute that to the world. And in that way, if those 6 areas of life is balanced, it's based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if one of those aren't nurtured, go and work on it. Empower yourself on that. And be coachable if you go find yourself a coach, because we don't know it all. Move the ego and say, I just don't know it. I don't know how to run my business. I need help in this area. I don't know how to do marketing. Nobody teaches us that. And to be honest, we're really bad at it. And I fortunately found the weaknesses of my areas. I did marketing went as far as Poland to go learn marketing
Mm-hmm.
and learning how to write, how to speak. And all those things that I was weak in empowered me to stand. And then sometimes I still don't know. And then I go find a coach that knows that and
Mm-hmm.
invest in it. It's not a cost, it's an investment in me. I'm worthy of that investment.
It takes
It's
you
not,
far.
yeah.
It takes you far, not only in monetary wise, but also in your mind. And how you behave around people, and you get the right people around you because of
Mm.
thinking how you're expressing yourself, because you can manage yourself.
Self-management, self-mastery. And that's what one of my coaches taught me. A lot of the things we always blame the external world.
Mm-hmm.
Look within. How have I contributed to the situation?
Mm.
What's my role in it?
I had a meeting with Dr. Martini, and well, it was like a
That's great.
brilliant, isn't it? It's amazing. He said something about that. I'm sure it's one of his trainings that he asked a guy. Basically, he was asked to help a business flourish because it was going down. They said to him, "Look, we're either going to get rid of the CEO, or you need to get him on board because we want to get back to number one." So what he did was he spoke to the CEO and he said to the CEO, do you think the problem is? Why you're not doing so well in your company? And he was blaming the external world, and he was saying the economy, these people are doing this,
Yeah.
and that person's doing that. And then in the end, he said, "Let's cut the bull.
Yeah.
Now tell me why you started your business in the first place.
Why?
Why? Where's your why?" And then he told him the story. He grew up in poverty, and when he went to school, the kids laughed at him. He thought that the boys were bullying him because he didn't have enough money. And then he used to go and pick up the stationery and put papers together so that other children who could afford paper, the ones that were not going in the best schools, and he also had the paper as well. He started the company. What was so good about this story was he said he had forgotten, because in the midst of everything else that was going on, he had forgotten his why. He asked
So
him,
important.
"Do you actually want to retire?" And he said, "No, I don't." He actually remembered
So why?
the why is what got the company started. The why is what's going to get the company to go back up, to become
That's
number one again.
powerful to remember. And this is what drives me, Sandra. You just reminded me as well. And I met once a billionaire. I'll recall meeting him a few years when I started my personal development journey, Errol Abramson. And he said, "Michelle," I was privileged because he charges thousands of pounds just to see him for one day. And he says, "Michelle," he said, "the biggest advice I can give you, if your why doesn't make you cry, go get a bigger why." And so my why always makes me cry. Why I started this journey of personal development and being a dentist is being not just a dentist, but I am spiritually designed to be a healer. I just happen to be a dentist. For me, it's about the person, not the tooth. So your why as a business owner, I think you need to write it down somewhere and just remind you. For me is, if I want to go serve those kids in Africa to give them a better chance, I need to first be able to be financially able to do that. So it's no use to be charitable. Many of us, "Oh, I want to do this and that for charity." But where's the resources for that? So I had to work hard on first be able to afford the resources, and now I can go serve my why. So everything I do is to help and serve others. And so the kids of South Africa that are impoverished and don't have that opportunity is to form a non-profit one day called the Find My Voice Foundation, because they don't have a voice. I didn't have a voice, and I discovered that through speaking. And please, if you feel that you're not good enough, you are. Nobody needs to prove to you. You have a voice, speak up. And even if it is going to make you feel unpopular, you've got to speak your truth, because that will set you free. Speak your truth from your heart. And even if people are going to dislike it, but at least you know, you will feel that you spoke the truth. And sometimes that person needs to hear the truth. It's like if it's a rejection, you're doing them a favor by saying the right things at the right time, and don't give them a false belief that it's okay. And that's the same in relationships. If it's not okay, everything's about relationships in life with yourself. If you master how to have a good relationship with yourself, you will do well in business. Communication. work on those skills, and it will
Mhm.
empower you through life, because everything is about communication. If you don't master that art, it will probably not serve you well through business, and you will hate the jobs you do. And so understand how you can communicate what your authentic self is, and that will help you through life.
Dr. Michelle Wyngaard, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for blessing us with the coaching and your information. I would love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra.
And I just want to, this is Sandra, wishing you guys always tremendous wealth and a healthy lifestyle. And I hope you manage to get some nuggets out of this conversation. Please share it, like it, and also subscribe to the channel so you can get more nuggets. We'll see you next time. Wishing you always, again, tremendous wealth and a healthy lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
If you have not already subscribed to this podcast, subscribe today so that you can be the first to get practical tips that can encourage you to embrace your full potential, helping you stay committed to your vision. And don't forget to share this episode and bless someone. This is Sandra, wishing you tremendous wealth and a healthy lifestyle.
Masterpiece podcast with your host, Sandra